Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Muppet Christmas Show. Now, at this time, we'd like to ask you to please turn off all cell phones and pagers.
I think it's off.
Okay, thank you. Now, Merry Christmas, everyone. It's showtime.
Hi, I'm Sophie.
Hi, I'm Paul. And we are...
SP Film Viewers.
So, last year we covered a Muppets Christmas Carol.
We did, and we had a star guest on.
Did one of our patrons.
Yes, Emma. I feel like we should have Emma on again. Me and Emma got on a house on fire. I don't know if you got a word in, but me and Emma were buzzing. Why are you bringing that up, by the way?
Because I've got another Muppets Christmas movie for you to watch. Which
Another?
I'm pretty sure you haven't seen. Yeah, another one.
Christmas?
So we just said. Which I don't know if a lot of people actually know about this film, but yeah, it's quite...
It's got Miss Piggy in it?
I don't know
Has
if
it got Kermie?
Yeah, of course it's got all those. Yeah. You've
Animal?
seen it. So it's a 2002 film, so there's a couple of new-ish characters, but you'll probably recognise them as from later iterations. As
I've watched the other Muppets.
like the
recently.
Muppets movie, and yeah, the one with Walter. Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the ones. So this one, I don't think, obviously, in terms of compared to Muppets Christmas Carol, it's probably not as like, oh yes, amazing. But I think it's in certain ways you'll definitely appreciate it.
It's the Muppets. I'm
Yeah,
sold.
Yeah. So I'll read the synopsis and see if you're sold even more. After the Muppets Theatre faces closure on account of financial hardships,
Oh no.
Angel Daniel requests Boss to help its owner Kermit the Frog and his team of Muppets.
Daniel who?
There's Daniel.
Okay. You have to have a human, I guess, don't we?
Yeah. There's always got humans involved in it. It's not just like any... It's fine.
Okay. So they're down on the luck, and then eventually... Is it like A Wonderful Life?
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head before I even said on it, really, because that's how it kind of plays out, really. So it's like the Muppets retelling of It's a Wonderful Life.
Yay!
So,
10! Right, we don't even need to watch it. Done. Muppets and A Wonderful Life merged together. How can we go wrong? I hope we can't.
well, yeah, it would be interesting to see what you think, really.
What's with our Patreon? Shani says Wonderful Life's like...
Fight Club.
Yeah, it's questionable. I love his bits, but I question that.
Yeah, so quite excited to see what you think of this one.
Sorry I stole your thunder.
Oh, that's fine. Don't worry. I was wondering even if from that sort of brief synopsis if you would twig on. But yeah, so you beat me to the punch.
Didn't I? How dare me? Okay, let's go watch it now.
Okay. So we'll be back with Sophie's thoughts on this Muppets movie, which is called It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie.
Gosh, that's a bit of a tongue twister.
Yes. Yeah.
When it started with "it's," I was like, oh, it's going to be like merging on Wonderful Life or something, but
Yeah.
it's not really, is it?
So I guess that's the conclusion there as well. So, yeah, so we'll go and check it out now. We'll be back very shortly.
Could you please just leave me alone? Please.
Actually, I'm not allowed to. Besides, you should not be alone right now. You're not yourself.
Yeah.
Kermit the Frog would not walk out on his friends on Christmas Eve.
Walk out. What do you know about my friends, huh? I'll tell you what I know. My friends would be better off without me. That's what I know.
What? That is not true.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. In fact, I've ruined their lives, and I wish I'd never been born.
Oh, no. You did not just say that. You did not just say that.
I did just say it. I said, I wish I'd never been born.
What am I supposed to do now?
I wish I'd never been born.
And we are back from It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie.
Oh, yeah, it's a movie. Not a show. It's technically a show.
A TV special movie, yeah.
Yeah, because it's the Muppets movie that they always put on a show, a theatre production.
Within the movie, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, technically a movie
it's not
about
the
a
Muppet
movie
show.
or a theatre production. Yeah. And we're back. Sorry about that. Causing more problem than I need to.
So, obviously, you mentioned prior to this or you noted the fact that it was going to be related to It's a Wonderful Life, and would you say that rings true?
Yeah, I would. I didn't want to say this while we were watching it because I didn't want you to scrap the whole idea. But I definitely feel like I've seen certain clips from this, like on social media or out there and about, like certain parts. Like I knew Whoopi Goldberg was like now seen her as God. I was like, oh yeah, I remember Whoopi being a God character. I just didn't know it was in this film.
Right. Okay.
And then, like, when Kermit the Frog, is on the bench in the snow, I remember seeing, like, certain, like, frames, but not the whole film. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, probably. Which is kind of odd because I don't know if a lot of people know about this film, but I can certainly imagine, like, I don't know, an image, like, meme about, like, Kermit the Frog being, like, sitting in the freezing cold.
It might be because we've watched the Jim Henson...
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, perhaps the documentary about his life and everything. Yeah,
so it could be that it's
maybe in that.
Somewhat
I don't know.
in there, and I've just seen it and not realised what it is, and then that's why I'm thinking, some of it I'm familiar with. Is it better than It's a Wonderful Life? I don't think it is. It doesn't do it justice compared to like the Muppet Christmas Carol, which I actually could say that is done better than some Christmas carols.
I'll agree with you there. Yeah, and this is certainly a lesser child of a Muppets Christmas movie for sure.
It's darker, isn't it?
Yeah, and weird and sexual for some reason in some aspects.
I didn't get that one. You're gonna have to point me out where I've me innocent heads
for something that's essentially rated because it's the Muppets.
I see what you're meaning now with the lady that wants to sell the theatre and the prawn character.
Yeah, some of it comes from her, I suppose, but there's like a scene later on where Scooter's in like a leather outfit in the
yeah.
And
that's when it's like showing the dark, bleak side. And I love how it goes to him having to be a stripper or something like that. Like that's how I kind of took it.
Well,
and like even in the Wonderful Life series, even in the Wonderful Life movie, I don't think like. When George goes back to see his loved ones, some people have had harder luck. Like the guy that meant to put poison in one of the medicines, and obviously
Mr. Gower, yeah,
thrown out. And I think that's like the bleakest one out of them. Like his wife is just like kind of like what Miss Piggy is, but I feel like this in the Muppet it takes darker tones of now Fozzie Bear's a pickpocketer, and what's his name with long nose? Gonzo. He's homeless, which. And you're just like, oh wow, okay, this like is quite dark compared to like It's a Wonderful
I think
Life.
it's trying to be kind of edgy because it's in like the early 2000s, so it's going to be hip. And saying that as well, like it does feel a product of its time because you've got
Scrubs
cast in randoms for some reason because Miss Piggy decides to go be an extra in that.
All the celebrities feel like a time warp.
Timepiece of when that is. There's like Kermit's like calling up people on the phone.
I didn't know half of them, me.
I forget the actress name, but she's like from the TV series called Hope and Faith or something. And even like the fact that we're touching upon things like within the show they're putting on like Moulin Scrooge, not to Moulin Rouge.
I did actually kind of think that was funny.
Which I think the popularity because that film version came out in 2001 and this came out in 2002, so it's like playing on that.
Also, I remember the song Christina Aguilera, and there was Little Kim and
that's
Pink.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that
I
again.
I remember all those names so vividly. What the hell was wrong with me there?
And even a random inclusion of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that either.
For some again, that was like a 2000 films, and let's just put
the
the Who's in.
everything in, basically. Yeah. The Who's didn't even sound like the Who's. I would know.
Well, it's meant to be, again, darker. Like, oh, can we beat up Fozzie
No,
looks
they
like
would
the
never
Grinch.
say that. They would never say that unless they were the Grinch themselves. They would never say that. I think there's certain aspects of this film I do enjoy and appreciate, but there's other bits where I'm like, It doesn't give me. I know I shouldn't, but I am comparing it to the Muppet Christmas Carol, and I shouldn't. But it's the same thing, in my opinion, which is it's both a Christmas film prior, which obviously they're going for the Christmas Carol in the Muppets Christmas, and they're going for A Wonderful Life, which is a Christmas movie.
Right, okay.
But the yin and yang for the Christmas Carol is a like for like production. It's literally
Adapting from the book and
it's the same
more
story.
To the,
Whereas this is like their own interpretation, but it's not gone well. And it's a shame because I think actually if they'd done it like the Muppets Christmas Carol, I'd adore it. Just like I do the Muppets Christmas Carol.
So you mean like you want it to be like for like the whole film setting around It's a Wonderful Life, basically, with Clarence and going through seeing you've got Kermit as a little frog, like Robin.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then seeing, I don't know if for licensing reasons they couldn't copy that completely. But
I don't know. I'd have much appreciated that than what I got.
Whereas I think Christmas Carol is more like public domain, so that was easier to. You can do what you want with it. Really, you have access to it because it's a literary classic, but you can adapt to how you want because that's hence why there's probably so many different versions of it because you can take it how you want. Whereas obviously studios get involved with all the legalities of whether you can, how much you can adapt for the story. I think it's not feasible. So
I think I really went into this thinking I was going to love it a lot more than I actually. Not that I didn't love it, but I was a little bit like, oh, there's certain things that grate on me. Mm-hmm. Do you want me to?
You may as well go.
Just rip the band-aid off.
Yeah, sure. Go. Because I mean, to be honest, for me, before you go into that, it's like I think when I first saw it, it was probably at a time where I was kind of maybe starved for like Muppets movies as such. Really, there wasn't many coming out, and it's like I kind of stumbled on this one, thinking, oh, this is kind of like, and took it as kind of being half decent, what it was. But looking on it now, and more appreciation for the Muppets Christmas Carol, it's like there's an old candle to it, really. But you go ahead.
100%. It's got the morals it's trying to go for, but it's not working. You've got the evil Scrooge character.
Bitterman, yeah.
Which she's, owns everything, which is the same as in A Wonderful Life. But she's more annoying. And, she's really grating. Her character is just, I know you're meant to hate somebody, in It's a Wonderful Life, you do. But in this, you're like, I don't actually hate you. I just wish you weren't on screen as often as you are. And I think her interaction with the Muppets are just... I know she's trying to be over the top, but it's just exaggerated.
Like pantomime villain, almost.
100%. And it's just like, this is grating and annoying. I feel like Kermit is he's trying, but then he gives up a lot quicker than normal, which is like a defeatist attitude, which normally he wouldn't have. I don't know if life... Maybe he's got a little bit older and it's just like, oh, I can't be arsed anymore. But he just doesn't seem like that kind of character normally. Just like...
Yeah, but it's obviously going to be for the sake of the...
I know.
Like the George Bailey.
But I think even George Bailey, you understand why he gets to that point, whereas I feel like in this it's...
Yeah.
He's not having as bad of time as George Bailey is.
Yeah.
But then it becomes even darker when his life's not there with him, and it was just a bit it's very dramatic. Mm-hmm. Because, like you said, a lot of things shoehorned in that don't need to be there. A lot of, we've got star power, we need to get loads of celebrities in, loads of little cameos, loads of...
Which is not, I know is not uncommon anyway for the Muppets to do, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work as well in...
I just feel like a lot of people have had lots of ideas and they've just all put it into one film, but not actually considered how it should flow.
Yeah, because I noticed when the credits were rolling and looking back on, I didn't see many people from the Henson Company involved in this, which is probably maybe tells you something there that that it hasn't got the normal charm that the other films kind of do have.
And I thought it would have charm because of the kind of film it's going for, with it mimicking It's a Wonderful Life. That is very charismatic. It's very charming. It makes me cry, and I really love that film. And I think this is why it's even harder now to review this, even though it's
your first time watch, but it's kind of it's not.
Miss Piggy's so fame orientated. She's I love well, I used to think she fancied Kermit or they were in a relationship. And then once he can't pay her, she's off. And I'm like, what's that about? Like, I thought she'd always want to be with him, but then she's just like, right, okay, I'm going to go perform on Scrubs as just an extra. And you're just like, oh, well, why are these people now here? Like, the cast of Scrubs. And you're like, I get it, but it's very like, oh, well, we'll make Miss Piggy just be a bitch, basically.
Yeah, just because, she's the star power for the Muppets, essentially.
I don't think she is. Like, yes, okay, she's beautiful, but I feel like it's a duo without her and Kermit. Like, she wouldn't put the production on. There wouldn't be a show if there wasn't Kermit the Frog.
Well, exactly. He's like the main focus of it, really, isn't
he puts he does all the work together. To be honest, I want to slap everybody if I were him, because like that's prom. That's like, oh, I need to go wherever for Ricky Martin. That other guy, that like highly racist about this French Paris man.
Oh, what was it called? Luc from Fromage. and also there's more casual racism later on when Fozzie's going to the bank to take the money, and this Chinese man's like on the front desk, like, oh, I don't understand what you're saying, getting not honey, money, and things like that.
Just really annoying. And it was just like, the humour just wasn't hitting as...
It's not charming humour, it's more just...
It was a humour that I kind of...
You don't like, do you? Yeah, sort of edging on cringe. Yeah. But it's, again, dated jokes with that as well, so...
Which is a shame, because I can kind of see potential, but... Like, in the end, with the song and everything and how it all kind of comes about, it's nice. It gives you the feels somewhat.
Yeah. Well, there's only there is only one song, essentially, in the film.
Weird,
again, which is weird, because, like, Muppets and, like, even, like, I think Muppets Treasure Island, there's loads of songs in that, again. And again, I think that's down to the writing of the film. That they're probably just like, I'll just churn this out and we've got to have one song, because it's the Muppets. But, which is, it's okay. It's nothing.
But, like, compared to the Muppets Christmas Carol, like, well, every time I have cheeses for these meases, like, all the time, I'm like... And then the Thankful Heart, like...
Yeah, that's heartwarming. Well, yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, I can actually name them as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one's called Everyone Matters. That's all I sort of remember of the song, and that's... Because it's like essentially the chorus, the hook, whatever, but
that's about it.
Yeah.
I even struggled, just if you hadn't helped me there, Paul, I would have been like...
What's it called?
I would have got there eventually, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that say?
Exactly, yeah.
I think obviously the puppetry is still beautiful and amazing, but then when you're comparing it to two things... I saw Kermit's wires at one point.
Yeah, and looking back on this again, like, I don't feel like the puppetry as... The standard is there, really. I feel like it's a lot weaker, and some even, like, the puppet designs look a bit off as well. I don't know. Certainly, Frank Oz wasn't even, like, a voice for some of the characters, where he normally is for a lot of the characters, like Sam the Eagle and like Fozzie Bear. So whoever's doing
Fozzie did sound weird.
Yeah,
I didn't realise why.
Yeah. So it's someone obviously trying to mimic Frank Oz, but it's not quite the same.
It doesn't hit as well, does it? The only thing I would say is really solid about this, and we don't get that much of it, is Whoopi. Like, playing God, I do quite like her in any role she does.
What did you make of Danielle?
Didn't get that. The ice cream man, yeah?
Yeah.
In accounting.
Because obviously he's like the Clarence of this.
Yeah, he's not. You can't compare him to Clarence. Yeah. You cannot. Like, Clarence is just... And Daniel's a bit... Well, he's an accountant. Obviously, can't fault them. But he's just... I don't know. I feel like that's even a cliche. Like, making him the nerd. Like, oh, I'm
nervous. And,
like, oh, you're a nerd because you deal with numbers. You know, you can't actually interact with humans properly. And I don't know. I just feel like he's not really that strong. Nothing is that strong. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it, and I'll put it on again, and I'd have it in the background, and it'd be on. Would it be where I sit and watch it like A Wonderful Life? No. Or like I will watch the Christmas Carol. Like, I will literally watch it, like the Muppets Christmas Carol. I will sit down and I'll make an effort, and I will watch that from end to end. This, I feel like if I walked out of the room, I wouldn't be too gutted.
Exactly, yeah. Which is, again, like, it's even got those, as I point out, it's very obvious. Like, it's got those fade to blacks where there'll be a commercial break, and then it kind of, like, reiterates what's just said, like in cartoons or something like that. I can't believe they changed the contract, and even they just said that a moment ago, but
it doesn't feel
in a
like it
different
flows as much because of those, though. Especially if you're watching it all in one piece. Like, obviously, if it was on the TV, I'd understand there'd be ads, but we're kind of past that now, aren't we? And even, I know I keep saying it, how many times is Sophie going to say the Muppet Christmas Carol? But it doesn't have ads in that. It don't feel disembogulated. It feels...
That was a complete film as such. Like, there was effort and a lot of money put behind that.
And you can tell the difference.
Whereas I think even like in other smaller like Muppets films, movies, that there's a bit more to them and they still have a charm, whereas this really doesn't. So the director of the movie is Kirk R. Thatcher, and I looked on Letterboxd like what other involvements he's had with the Muppets films. He's done a couple. One of them being the Muppets Haunted Mansion, which I think came out a year or two ago. Which I think even that, obviously that was more like a Disney Plus like exclusive kind of thing, and there was still fairly decent production on that, but I wouldn't say that was like, oh, that was terrible kind of thing. But
I can't remember that.
Like, impactful then. And you probably haven't seen it, but there's a Muppets Wizard of Oz iteration where that is more following on from like a beat for beat kind of with Ashanti.
Shanty?
Yeah, there's Dorothy in that.
What, Ashanti's Dorothy?
Yes.
There was love got to do. That one.
What? Oh, sorry, I think I knew the other song.
Not saying that.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I remember it being very, very good, to be honest.
And the same director did that.
Yep.
Well, what does that say then? Mm-hmm. It just feels it looks very dated.
Which?
This.
Like the Muppets.
The Muppets Wizard of Oz.
Uh-huh.
Like even...
And so is this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, I don't know. Obviously, the Christmas Carol is dated. It's dated way, way back.
Yeah.
But it just holds up. It's a classic and it always will be, and it'll be one of those that you'll put on every Christmas or every other Christmas. Every Christmas in our household. I have to watch it at least once a year. It just reminds me of my childhood, and I would bring my child up to watch the Muppets Christmas Carol and love it. Would I put them through this?
No. I don't think so, really.
I'd make them watch It's a Wonderful Life instead.
Yeah, if you're going to do one of the two, then yeah. Absolutely that, yeah.
Because I feel like, because I've tried to put something in, and probably if you watched it when you were little or when it came out, this would be fantastic. It's like, oh, Scrubs, we're watching that, right?
Yeah,
great.
yeah, that's like relatable.
Yeah, it's relevant. Coming back to it, and obviously me not like watching it as a timepiece.
Years gone by, yeah.
It just, you can just see the age of it, sadly. And it's not in a good way. I was really excited. Not that I hate it, but I was just like, I think I expected more. Is that daft?
Maybe I set the expectation bar too high for this. Maybe.
Because I came in thinking, Muppets, Wonderful Life, two of my favourite things, great, I'm going to love it. And then I was like, the only thing I actually did like was maybe the song, if I could have remembered the name of it.
Again, super impactful there. Yeah.
The fact that as well, like they're going to, the threat of losing the theatre is kind of obviously the same as George Bailey losing like the company and loan.
Yeah, and I think we kind of had the same storyline in the 2011 Muppets movie, the one with the introduced Walter, and that was kind of like a similar thing where they got to save the theatre, but that was a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. I remember.
And again,
that.
like more full blown production and not just for TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I vaguely do remember that more.
Yeah.
And I think it's just obviously the Fozzie, bless him, trying to get to the bank, and he has a lot of hassle on with that. But then still, like, even like him going through all them like laser beams.
Yeah.
Initially, like, oh, I feel sorry for him, but then they have to do a gag where he forgets his bag and go back, and then go back again.
I'm surprised he didn't actually do it again. It's like a Family Guy joke.
And it was like, okay, it's lost its actual humour now.
Yeah. I also don't really get when he's doing all that, and there's like a Steve Irwin type guy just appears out of nowhere. I don't know what that is about. Like, I mean, like, is that really culturally relevant at the time? I don't really think so.
Well, for me, I didn't even know who he was at that point, did I? I was like, is that Crocodile Dundee? But I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it's like... But would children even know at that point who he is? Like, is that just for like an adult thing?
Maybe.
Like adult humour, like...
Well, we've got my adult humour with that the Bitterman's assistant, the other assistant, when he comes like not everything's a innuendo.
Oh, I forgot about
yeah,
that.
So again, like decorate your tree and whatever. Like,
file your taxes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think some of it's just like unnecessary crappy dialogue in the script,
Mhm.
so it's just like it's cringe.
The only funny parts, as I will say, is there's like when Bunsen and Beaker like, oh, what can we do to get money? And it's like, well, boot up the old Windows system, and then he drags a window in,
That's
and
like-
then wheels a window in, and then writes all like some calculations on, and then Beaker traps his fingers, which and I think this is like, oh, you've got a beautiful mind, which I think is, I didn't know at the time, I hadn't seen the film, but I sort of know there's a film called A Beautiful Mind, which is about like doing like math calculations or something.
that's
So
clever.
I think it's probably of some that came out around that time to like again shoehorn in
Shoehorn
for some reason. Like kids aren't going to
No.
understand that reference.
I
But
guess they did seem to try and tailor it more to an adult-ish audience,
it really
you know,
did.
at that time.
Yeah, and the other funny bit was you were like, they found it funny because Bitterman and Piggy are doing like kung fu fighting at the end, and you said, well, that dialogue's not syncing up. I said, well, no, that's the point, that's the joke, because like, again, random parody of like, you know, martial arts film
why?
where they overdub. I don't know, because it's funny. And
But it wasn't, because I didn't get what they were going for. I was like, didn't realise that's what we were...
I don't know. I really don't know why it was
It
needed.
just felt like a lot of people had a lot of ideas and they all just went with them.
Just showing them in. Oh, I like The Grinch. I like...
Oh, do you know what we could do? We'll do this. And it's like, oh yeah, we'll just... I think somebody just said yes to everything.
Yeah, just shake a bucket and just pick some ideas out of a hat, and that'll
Nothing
be a
was
gag.
coherent. Nothing was making sense.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, like, understanding what Miss Piggy did as a job when she was like, Kermit the Frog wasn't around. Like, I didn't actually understand until you explained to me what it was.
Again, I think it's more like a child-friendly version of like being not a call girl,
Right.
really. So it's like, oh, she does like tarot readings over the phone type of, like Mystic Meg type of
Right.
thing when you
got
used to call us. Again, that's probably something that was more commonplace. Like people, dial in and you'd have your fortune told over the phone and whatever. We did see like a cat that very much looked like our cat Arthur in the background, didn't we? In that,
We did.
very fluffy though.
Yeah, it wouldn't be around now though if it was our cat, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the holdovers was
Much better.
Yeah.
Which I suspected would be, of course. But and as I say, I know going into this, I didn't think I was going to favourably like it as much as maybe I did when I was younger. As I say, when sort of a bit more, should we say, naive on like what films had, because I think it was probably like, I'll just watch any old thing that I had access to, and this was one of them. Thinking,
yeah, and
like,
especially if you're around that age and you watch
you're much younger.
Muppets. Yeah, you're gonna love
Didn't
it,
have
aren't you?
Yeah, develop my taste. You obviously, you said yourself like how your tastes have changed throughout the years, and
yeah, since I met you, definitely. So we've only got one more after this as well, so that's the Patreon pick, isn't it? So fingers crossed, because I think we've done really well. I think this is the weakest one so far. I just don't want to downward spiral
into snow.
Yeah.
Off a cliff. Yeah. So, if there's nothing more else to be said, then it's your turn to score film first.
This is so hard because, like, the Muppets Christmas Carol is like a 9 or a 10. It's a Wonderful Life is a 10.
You gave both a 10, so.
Oh, there we go then.
It's 11, this one.
No, it's not. Right, I'm going to be really harsh, and this is not like me to be really harsh around Christmas time. I'm normally very generous.
Oh, Sophie's going to buy humbug on us.
You're making me. I am going to have to give it a 6. That's generous. The reason why I'm giving it a 6 is I don't hate it. It's not like Borat where it's like, no, never ever watching again. Or like Mario, whatever, Brothers.
Super Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably could put it on. Am I going to be invested in it? Probably not. If there was nothing else on and I had to sit in a room and watch Borat or this, it would be this. So it does have potential. Yes, okay, the puppetry isn't as great as the Muppets, but
When you said before, until I changed your mind, you said it was
it's still what they do is amazing. Like, even if it isn't as seamless as you think, it's still a fantastic thing and hard to
Oh yeah,
do.
no, I'm not taking that away from it. No,
I can't be like, oh, it's a 2 because like they artistically do a lot within the film.
Yeah.
Are the shots great and the lighting and everything? It's just mediocre. I think it's just they've just churned a film out, sadly. And I just don't feel like I've got that connection growing up with it to high it.
Well, neither do I, as such, not like a really strong connection with it. But obviously, I did see it when I was fairly young, but not. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's not something I've grown up with, like a nostalgia piece for me.
Well, I think that's as well. I'm a biased with the Muppet Christmas Carol because it's a nostalgia.
Yeah, sure.
But
a lot of people really do like.
It is amazing. Like you can't. And I think I came in with high hopes, thinking Muppets, Wonderful Life.
Yeah,
it's a picture perfect made in heaven, and it was just a bit like, oh, I'd rather just watch them both separately and not have them merged. Sadly,
yeah, just because you have two things that sound good on paper doesn't always work as a final product.
Yeah, I've learned the hard way. I was very. If you actually listen to the beginning of the podcast, I'm like, right, let's go watch it, and then I'm like, right, okay. Thanks for that, Paul. Over to you. Are you going to be more of a Christmas Grinch, or are you going to be more Jolly Santa?
In all honesty, I think I'm going to go 5 down the middle with it. I don't think it really holds up so well as I maybe remember it being, which I kind of suspected before we went in, to be fair, but kind of wanted
heads up.
to see how it all played out, but I just don't know. Like the gags and writing of it, and I say like the visuals just aren't that striking as it feels more obviously coming into the millennium as it of when it was, and trying to be hip and
which is stupid because that's like when we grew up, and that should be our era, and we should love it. But
it was not necessarily a good era, was it, for a lot of things? Maybe some music, perhaps, and
100%
stuff.
music.
But it's debatable in some cases. But like certain films do still have the charm, some just don't, and this is not one of them. And I'd say 100% just go with the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Or It's a Wonderful Life in 4K, if you can, because it's just in 4K. It's beautiful, and I think that's the thing. Like even in this, like the colorization of it. I know we won't watch it in high def, but
to be fair, because we got the 4K player, it's upscaled a DVD. That's what we're watching, a DVD quality, but it kind of made it slightly better than what it would if you just put in a regular DVD player. It probably look really crap. But upscaling as best it can makes it look a little bit better. But as I say, like color saturation and stuff, probably not. I don't even think, to my knowledge, this even has like a Blu-ray or anything like that.
It doesn't need one.
But it does not need one. And so like it's just one of the things I've kept
Can you
hold
get
of.
Muppets Christmas Carol in 4K?
I think that's down to Disney to decide, because they have the rights to it, and it's on Disney Plus. I don't know if it is on able to 4K stream or not, but in terms of discs, I don't know. I feel like that probably would sell well if 100% if they decide to do that. But
yeah, well, they've got enough money anyways, haven't they? It's down to them, I guess.
Yeah, only certain things make the cut, but yeah.
So that's it then. One of the lowest scored Christmas films this year.
Let's see what the
and one only more to go, which I'm really good about. How's it become so quickly already that we're...
Well, there's only 4.
Yeah, but when it's Halloween, it don't feel like that. Okay, then. Now what?
Now it's time to thank the patrons, firstly. And be thanking them for...
I don't know, will I be? So, if you want to be a Patreon, all you've got to do is go to our Linktree, click on the link for the Patreon, which is patreon.com/SP Film Viewers. It's £1 or $1.50 a month, so like 25p a week or something like that. And you get to pick one movie we watch a month, and you get your shout out every week, which we're going to do now.
I'm going to start with Gren this time, who is at cgren_draw on Instagram. And we also have Alex and Shani on Instagram, who are at desperately seeking username and SDOG respectively.
So we've also got our friends Emma and Jonesy, who are on Instagram as well under the handles Weight Loss Jonesy and M_Hayton, and my mum,
who's not on Instagram.
No.
Lastly, we've got our podcast family, who are Mark at 100 Things We Learned from Film, Ben from Ben Push Pull Health, formerly Film Vloggers, and Nico from The Good, The Bad and The Weird podcast. So thank you everybody for your continuing support, and thank you for listening to this episode, of course. Hope you've got some satisfaction out of it. And if you want to check out some more of our other episodes, you can do so by going to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you get your podcasts from. And as always, be sure to leave us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, and wherever else they do the scoring system.
So, if you want some more Merry Christmas jingle all the way, Christmas cheer, or
just social posts,
more content, then you can follow us on social media if you aren't already. We are on all the major platforms. I'm not going to say them. Just find us. We're under the handle SP_filmviewers.
So that's Instagram, Twitter or X, Threads, TikTok for that handle, whereas Blue Sky, the new Twitter X, is SP Film Viewers, all one word.
It's too confusing. It's just why has Twitter got 3 things going on? Like, just pick one. Just pick one lane and just go with that. Twitter seemed to be fine. Anyways. So yeah, you can find us all on those platforms. We are also plugging our YouTube channel for Paula's.
Yes, it is me doing the legwork there, as usual.
Christmas blah. So you can go and watch. There is a new video released.
Yeah. By the time this is out, yeah, there'll be a new video there of what I've done, like a Blu-ray 4K haul of what I've bought recently. So yeah, appreciate that, and if obviously any likes and subscribes on the channel would be very much appreciated. So, one more to go for Christmas.
Better make it good. Come on, patrons. No pressure.
I'll try. Thank you once again for listening, and we'll speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye now.
Bye.
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 Bye.